Good morning, children. Today, let us begin with the topic the French society during the late 18th century. How was the French society during the late 18th century? In the previous class, we have studied how the Russian Revolution began. It started as a small struggle against the king, but finally ended with the execution of the King of France. So, in 1774, Louis XVI, he was belonging to the Bourbon family of kings or Bourbon family or Bourbon dynasty who belonged to Bourbon family. King Louis XVI of France, he ascended the throne of France. He became the king of France. He ascended or climbed or became the king of France. He was just 20 years old and married to Austrian princess Mary Antoinette. So during that period he was just 20 years old. That time he married the princess of Austria and she was Mary Antoinette. So here, upon his accession of the new king found an empty treasury. When he became the ruler of France, he found that treasury was empty. That means no money was available for the government. So long years of war which had drained the financial resources of France. When the France waged war with the other nations continuously for many years, the France treasury was emptied, so no resource was left for France. Added to this was the cost of maintaining an extravagant court at the immense palace of Versailles. So it was very big court was there in the palace of Versailles palace, and it was not possible for the king to maintain the expenditure of the running of the court. Under Louis XVI, France helped the 13 American colonies to gain their independence from the common enemy Britain. And when Louis XVI was the king of France, he helped the American colonies. We know that America, there were 13 American colonies. They were especially the Europeans or the Britishers only. But the France had an enemy, and these American colonies also had an enemy. Their common enemy was Britain. So this period, during the reign of Louis XVI, he helped the 13 American colonies to get independence from the Britain. So this war added more than $1 billion to a debt that had already risen to more than $2 billion. Okay, so during this period, because of this war and also their debt increased, the debt of France increased. Already it was completely a debt ridden nation. Now it is increased as $2 billion debt they had. What is livres? Livres is the unit of currency which followed or used in France, but it was discontinued in 1794. Till then, this currency was used in France. So it increased. The war between the France and England or Britain increased the debt of France. Lenders those who lend money to the money to the government also felt that they had already increased. They felt that the who gave the state to France they began to charge more than 10% of interest on loans. Now up to now, those who lended money to French government, they began to feel that government cannot return the debt, so that they began to increase the interest of the loans. So the French government was obliged to spend an increasing percentage, such as the cost of maintaining the army especially. So all French government felt that the government or Louis XVI felt that the king Louis XVI felt that they have to increase the percentage of the budget on payments also, and they planned to increase the taxes from the collection of taxes from the people in order to make more revenue for the government, because it was completely treasury was ended and no money was there. So no other opportunity they had to increase the taxes and increasing the percentage of its budget also to meet its regular expenses, such as the cost of maintaining an army or the court running the government offices or universities. The state was forced to increase the taxes. For the regular expenditure, no money was available in the treasury, so Louis XVI planned to increase the taxes. So even these measures would not have sufficed. It was not sufficient. Even increasing the taxes also was not sufficient for maintenance of the government. So that French society in the 18th century, we know that it was divided into three estates, three classes. We know that three estates. There were three steps. But only the members of the third estate paid the taxes. We know in our country, in the modern world, all people have to pay the taxes. All people, even the poorest people also, water bill or electricity bill or road tax, if we are using the roads, etc., house tax or land tax, etc., we have to pay. So many type of taxes, even all communities, all people are paying. But in France, during this period in the 18th century, we know there were three classes. People were, or the society was divided into three classes or three estates. From that, first estate, second estate and third estate, only third estates paid the taxes. That means only a little percentage of people paid taxes. Other two estates or two classes enjoyed all the privileges without paying any tax to the government. So the society of taxes was part of the feudal system that dated back in the Middle Ages. This was the feudal setup. Feudalism existed in the ancient period or medieval period in France. This system was still followed in France. So this feudal setup was, or the classes system or the three estate system was part of the feudal system. So the term old regime is usually used to describe the society and institutions of France before 1789. Old regime means old methods in the administration or the governance of the country was followed here. So here we can find how the system of this French estate society was organized. Peasants were made up 90% of the population. Farmers or peasants, they were considered, they were about 90% of the population was there. So only a small number of them owned the land and cultivated. Even there were 90% of people were peasants or farmers, only a few of them cultivated the land and they owned the land. About 60% of the land was owned by the nobles, the church and the richer member of the third estate. First estate, second estate and the third estates were there, and church members and nobles or the rich persons, they all belonged to the first estate and they all had the 60% of the land belonging to the first and second estates. And in the third estates, we know that largely peasants were there. Among them, only the rich persons, even in the third estate, only rich persons had little land also. So the members of the first two estates, that is the clergy. Clergy means the church members. Members are the officials in the church, and nobility. And these people, noble people, are the landlords or rich persons and those who had reputed power in the society. So they all owned the land largely. Also they enjoyed certain privileges by birth. They belonged to the rich families or the royal families, or belonging to the families of the church officials. They all by birth were given some special power or rights, so they had not necessary to pay the taxes to the government. So most important of these was the exception from paying taxes to the state. So the first estate and second estate, these people by birth they were considered noble and they had the privileges of exempting the tax. They were not needed to pay taxes to the government or the state. So the nobles further enjoyed feudal privileges also. Feudal setup was found there, and feudal privileges also they had, special powers or special rights they had. These included feudal dues which they extracted from the peasants or from farmers or the peasants. They collected even taxes also, other people also. Now peasants were obliged to render services to the lord. Okay, so these peasants or farmers, they had to rent their service or to the feudal lords or to the king, and they were forced to work for the house and fields, in their houses and fields also, to serve in the army or to participate in building roads, any type of such kind of governmental activities or governmental works. All these people in the third estate had to do. So all the peasants who were 90% of the people were peasants, but they did not have their own land to cultivate. They also had to work for the government free of cost. The church also extracted its share of taxes from the people. From the peasants, even church also had the right to collect taxes. Not only the state or the king, even church also or nobles also collected taxes from the people. They were called these taxes which was collected by the church was known as the tithes. Tithe was a tax which levied by the church, which was comprising 1/10 of the 10% of the agriculture products. So whatever the agriculture food grains were produced by the peasants had to pay 1/10 of the products to the church as in the form of a tax which was called the tithe. And all members of the third estate had to pay the taxes to the state. Not the first and second. From the third estate, all people had to pay taxes to the state also. So these included a direct tax which was called a tithe, and a number of indirect taxes also levied upon the articles of everyday consumption like the salt, tobacco. These were the food grains or other items or which were used by the people regularly. For these goods also they had to pay taxes to the state. Okay, it was called a direct tax was called a tithe, and many other taxes also they had to pay to the government. So burden of financing activities of the state through taxes was borne by the third estate alone. The important factor we know that only the third estate had to pay the taxes, and government state collected taxes from the people. At the same time, church also collected different types of taxes from the people. So how the struggle to survive the population of France? We know that the third estate, they were the poorest people, but they had to pay taxes to the state and even to the church also. The population of France, we know, increasing. It was about 23 million in 1715. It rose to 28 million in 1789. So this led to a rapid increase in the demand for food grains also. When the population increased very rapidly, at the same time there was a demand for food grains also. Production of grains could not keep pace with the demand. According to the demand of the population, there was no extra production. Production of food grains were also limited. So what happens? There was shortage for food grains. So generally the price of bread, which was the staple diet of the majority of the people in France, rose rapidly. The price of bread, that was the food people used to consume regularly. So the price of bread increased very rapidly. So most workers were employed as laborers in workshops whose owner fixed their wages. One important problem was whoever working as laborers in the workshop, their owner fixed their wages permanently. when the prices of food grains increasing, according to that, the laborers' wages were not increasing, it was fixed. So they had the wages, whatever they did not get, what are the wages they got from the industries or factories or any workshops were insufficient for buying the food grains. So that gap between the poor and the rich widened. The rich becomes more richer and richest, and poor becomes poorer and poorest again because of these problems. So this because of these reasons, the things became more worse when drought or hail reduced the harvest also. Whenever the drought situation occurs, crops failed, and also if there was hailstones occurring in the winter season, crops were damaged. Due to these reasons, again there was a severe problem and food was insufficient. Also the price of food grain was increasing largely. So this period, this led to the subsistence crisis, something that occurred frequently in France during the old regime. In the old rule or period, during this period, the continuously this subsistence crisis which occurred, the problem of food grain and the price of bread was increasing. These problems continued in France during the period of Louis XVI in France. So in the coming class we will study more about the growing middle class and which ended the privileges. Now here the three estates where from the third estate itself we know that a middle class is emerging as powerful.